guys, so in today's video, I'm doing a collab with Manny.
Hi guys.
I'm so excited he came up here to LA to do this collab with me. As you guys could tell in the intro, we wanted to make a prom video together. So I feel like we did looks that complement each other.
Yeah, totally.
I went with like a really intense, bold, navy blue.
In your face,
smoky eye. Like nobody will forget you. Like,
body.
Are you joking me right now? This is so blue.
I did this nice warm, smoky eye with this nice like pinky lip.
I want to call it like a berry strudel.
Berry strudel.
This is my first collab on my channel, and I'm just excited that it was you.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
That is the cutest thing I've ever heard.
I've never done a collab before. So thanks for coming out today, Manny. If you want to see this look, just keep watching. And if you want to see this gorgeous sparkle look, I'm going to link his video down below. Make sure you go watch it. But yeah, other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I know I'm really, really pale right now, but it's because I self-tanned my whole body like 4 days ago with Loving Tan, but I didn't do my face for no specific reason. I just wanted to not do my face this time, so that's why I'm like very reflective right now. Okay, so I already put on a primer. This is the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. I already put this on my face. So what I'm gonna do first is put on some concealer just around and underneath my eyes. Just that way I can conceal right in here before I start putting shadow on. Even though there might be a little bit of fallout, it's okay. We can still redo the concealer easily. And for concealer, I'm going to be using the MAC NW20 Select Cover Up. So next I'm just applying an eyeshadow base. This is the Soft Ochre Paint Pot from MAC. Super important, especially for something like prom night that you use an eyeshadow base. After I put on my eyeshadow base, I like to use a sheer setting powder and just lightly add it on top. It just makes it a little bit easier in case you have like really dry lids. So that way your eyeshadow doesn't like skip when you put it on. Okay, and since we're gonna be doing like a really bold navy smoky eye, we're gonna be using the color from the Lorac 2 palette. I want to use like a really warm shadow for the crease colors. So I'm going to be using Sienna from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is one of my favorite colors to use if I'm using blue eyeshadow, which is not very often. And then this one from Makeup Forever, this is M664. So first what I'm gonna do is take the Makeup Forever shadow, the M664, and a fluffy blending brush, and I'm gonna buff it into the upper and outer crease. And we're gonna be kind of like smoking out the eyeshadow into like a really soft wing shape. Okay, so we have that really soft, like orangey, reddish kind of brown. So now what I'm gonna be doing is taking Sienna from Anastasia Beverly Hills and just buffing that right below the Makeup Forever color, and I'm using a MAC 217 brush. All right, so right now I'm just blending these two colors together, the Sienna and Makeup Forever, with a blending brush before I put the dark blue on. All right, so we have like a really orangey red transition color going on, and now we're gonna add the dark blue. So this is Navy from the Lorac 2 palette right here, which is such a pretty blue. I've been wanting to use it for so long. I'm gonna be using a MAC 217 brush, and I'm gonna like kind of pack it on with it, just all over the lid, and then lightly buff it out. This color is really intense. These eyeshadows are like really, really good in this palette, so you just gotta be like careful. So I just finished packing it all over the lid, and now I'm just gonna lightly buff it into the more reddish tones, just that way it blends nicely. Now I'm just taking a little bit more Sienna, and I'm gonna buff that into the crease to kind of buff the two shades together a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and line the waterline. I have like the biggest mess ever going on right here. So I'm gonna use a black liner pencil. This one is Mr. Right Now from the Balm. This is the color Dean, which is black. So I don't have watery eyes, but sometimes it like droops a little in the outer corner. If you set it with some black eyeshadow, that'll help a lot to make it last longer. So especially for prom, you want it to last a long time. So always set it with black eyeshadow. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of the black eyeshadow. You see how I just made it a little bit deeper around the rim? I'm gonna add some to the top lash line also. It's really important when you're using like an eyeshadow like this, which is really intense, that you don't like overblend. Because if you overblend and you start like doing lots of like circles up in here, you see how it's still like kind of separated? If you start to overblend it, it'll just turn into like really dark mush, and then like it'll start getting up higher and higher. And that's when it looks like you have like a black eye. So just be really careful of that. For mascara today, I'm just using this one from Tarte. This is their Lights Camera Lashes. So I ran out of my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Actually, I didn't run out. It started like drying out, which I know is normal. I just always forget the mascara does that. And it was like flaking all over my face when I was wearing it throughout the day. And it took me so long to realize that that's what it was, but I started using this, this is a little sample one that I have from Tarte, and I actually really like this mascara. It's very, very nice for like really full separated lashes. I feel like I really like the way the lid looks right now. I don't want to overwhelm it with this pigment, plus this pigment goes on like kind of blackish. And I feel like if I don't put it all over the whole lid, you'll see where it stops and everything. So I'm gonna try a little bit on the lower lash line, see how it comes out. That way it's not like too much of a commitment and I can back out if I need to. I'm gonna use this tiny little eyeliner brush. This is 263 from MAC. I'm just gonna dab it on with no mixing medium first, just see how I feel about it. Oh, I like that. Okay, I think that'll be good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a little bit of mixing medium right on the lower lash line. I'm not gonna smudge it around, just stick it right in there. And then I'm going to pack the pigment directly on top of it. So that way we'll still have like a little bit of glimmer when our eye hits the light a certain way. And I don't wanna put it over the whole lid, so I really like just using it in the lash line. So the only thing with this is I can't come back in and buff later. This is like it, this is done. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put mascara on the lower lashes. Okay, so now before we move on to the rest of the face, I'm gonna put on some lashes. Just doing lashes that are very dramatic with this look will look really, really good because the lid is so dark. So I'm gonna use these. These are the Koko Lashes, the Goddess ones. They're my favorite ones. They're the most comfortable for me to wear, like the thickest style that I can wear. If you're gonna wear something like this and you've never worn like a long or thick lash before, I recommend wearing it like 1 or 2 times at least before you do it, like actual prom day. Not only so that way you can get used to it, but so that way your lash is like nice and curved for your eyes, so that way it goes on easier. Also, when you put these on, make sure you like stick them practically like vertical, so that way you can really see them through the eyeshadow. Okay, so the eyes are done. The lash glue is still drying a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead, finally, and wipe off this fallout that I have on my face. So we're gonna have to redo like the concealer and stuff, but it's okay. Okay, so since I took off most of my concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and put on a little bit of primer underneath my eyes one more time. So I'm gonna come back in with that Makeup Forever primer and just put a little bit more underneath my eyes and then basically redo my concealer. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to foundation, which I'm like dying for. So for foundation for this look, or for just, I guess, prom in general, if I were to do an event, I would use the Infallible foundation if they have your shade. This is shade 106. This is not by any means like my actual skin tone. As you can tell right now, like my face is so light, and that is because I self-tanned heavily the rest of my body in ultra dark from Loving Tan. This makeup will last so long. Like it's lasted all day when I'm out in the direct sunlight and it doesn't move, it doesn't budge, it doesn't like sweat, I don't get oily. So I think this would be a really great foundation for like an event kind of like prom. Obviously it's up to you. It's really, really matte, but you can always add dew or highlight in the places that you wanna use. Just because this foundation is a little bit drier, I'm gonna go ahead and spritz my face with some Fix Plus from MAC first. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start applying it, and this is the Morphe G2 brush. It's from their Gunmetal collection. So now I'm done with my foundation. I'm gonna add some highlight to the skin, and I'm going to be using the Prep and Prime pen from MAC. This is in the color Light Boost. This also helps to blend like the obvious, like this isn't my real skin tone, with areas like around the eyes and nose and mouth and stuff. All right, and then you can always add a nose contour. I don't even do it to like make my nose look thinner. I just do it to make it look a little bit more straight, and then add a little bit more definition like right in here. Okay, so I'm gonna be using the NYX Conceal, Correct, and Contour Medium Palette, and this is a Luxie 110 brush, so this is like a detail brush. And I'm just gonna take like a mixture of these two colors right there, those two. And then just lightly buff on the nose. Okay, now I'm just gonna set around my under eye area, and I'm going to use the Nye Cameo Powder. This step is also super important because you don't wanna be creasing, and then also with this look, if any of the blue eyeshadow falls down and you don't have like a powder underneath it and you like smear it, it's gonna like, it's just a huge disaster. So I'm gonna add kind of a heavier layer of the setting powder right underneath my eye. To warm up the highlight just a little bit around the eye area, I'm gonna come in with the NYX Highlight Contour Kit. And I'm gonna take this yellowish shade and just kind of lightly buff it like here. I feel like this just helps to blend it in a little bit more, so it's not quite so drastic. Okay, and then before I add my MAC setting powder that I always use to set my face, what I'm gonna do first is take that setting powder, the sheer one that I added to my lids after the soft ochre paint pot, the one from Bombshell, just a sheer setting powder. I'm just gonna add it to my T-zone in this area right here. Basically anywhere that you might get oily throughout the night or you feel like you might be touching your face more. Just adding a sheer setting powder will help to make sure your makeup doesn't move. I like to use that one, but any sheer setting powder will work. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add my setting powder. This is the MAC Sheer Select Setting Powder in the color NC30. All over my face, just a nice light layer. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and contour. See, I'm learning how to say contour correctly. And I'm going to use the highlight contour. I feel like I'm saying it wrong now, but I know I'm saying it right. I'm gonna use this color, and this is one of my favorite brushes that I have, which they don't sell. It was like in a kit from Costco. One brush that I would recommend is MAC 168. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and bronze my skin. I'm gonna use the Bahama Mama bronzer from the Balm. It is a really intense bronzer. Depending on what brush you use, that's like gonna be like how bronze you get, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I saw somebody left a comment on a video saying that it looked really muddy when they used it. I could totally see how that could happen. The only thing I would recommend if you have a problem with that one is to use like a fluffier brush. Something maybe more tapered. Maybe you were using a brush that was too dense or something, but you just, for this particular bronzer, use something more fluffy. But I'm just gonna add this like all over because you know I'm trying to be like hella tan right now. Okay, so for blush today, the color that complements blue, I looked it up, the color wheel, it's actually orange. This is the City Color Blush Quad, collection number 4. I'm gonna wear the lightest color in here, which is kind of like a mango-y color. And then I am going to put Luminoso on top of it because I want to, and I really love that blush. So I'm just gonna really lightly put on the City Color one first, just to get a little bit of like that pop of soft orange. So I have that like really subtle kiss of peachy orange on the cheeks, and I do like it a lot. I am just gonna add Luminoso because I have a problem. So now I'm gonna take a little bit of the Girlactik Face Glow. This is in the color Natural. So I'm gonna take this duo fiber brush and put some right here on my forehead. You see how like matte it is right now? I'm just gonna add some here. You wanna make sure you use like a really like fluffy brush so it doesn't add it too thick. And then I'm just gonna take my pinky and then just right down the center of the nose. So I'm gonna use, I just bought this at Sephora not too long ago. This is the Becca highlighter in the color Moonstone. Really similar to the Mary Luminizer from the Balm. And I'm just gonna add this to the tops of my cheekbones to make me insanely glowy. Okay, so for lipstick, obviously I wanna do something nude. Duh. So I am going to use the Dose of Color Sand. We're so excited right now. I'm so excited. I was gonna use Poise, but I use that all the time too. So for lip liner, I'm gonna use MAC Subculture. Manny just helped me pick this color out because I suck at picking lip liners. So I'm gonna go ahead and line. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the Dose of Color Sand liquid lipstick on. One thing I did want to do really quickly is put some black eyeshadow on the eyelash glue because it's a little bit shiny, as you can see up here, and I strongly dislike that. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of black right there to like cover it. There we go, that's better. Okay, so now we have the nude lipstick on, which I love, by the way. I just gotta let it dry. I'm like talking too much right now. I gotta let it dry. But I love this lipstick by Dose of Colors. It's like the perfect nude for a liquid lipstick. I'm so happy I found one that actually works for me. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set my face because you definitely wanna set your makeup before you go out for the night. So this is one that's really, really popular. This is what I used on my wedding night. I bought this at IMATS. This is called Model in a Bottle Makeup Setting Spray, and this one has a matte finish. So this will help your makeup stay in place all night long, obviously. So I'm just gonna give myself like a quick spritz. So I'm all done with the makeup, and Manny is like really bothering me right now. He's standing like right here having a conversation with like 4 people. I'm gonna link his video down below so that way you guys can see his makeup look. I wanna know what you guys think, so let me know down below if you like this look, if you wanna see more deep smoky looks, because I don't really do them that often. If you recreate this, make sure you tag me on Instagram so that way I can see it. But yeah, love Manny, super excited that he's here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.
Okay, Katie. We do have that pizza still. Always be my babe. Oh. Yeah. You're so ratchet. Daddy's home. Closer. That's what we do. Let's be honest here. was trying to say Illinois and Louisiana at the same time. I said Louisiana.
Okay.
I was not.
This highlighter.
But no, but
do you
seriously
see
though.
this? What should I do?
I was lost, but now I'm fat. I'm just kidding. Is that even a song?